Hi there, this is Ranjit from tech2buzz.com, and in this video we're going to do the full review for the Sony Xperia ZL Android phone. Similar to the Sony Xperia Z, this ZL is a high-end Android phone by Sony, packing some impressive specs. And I have to say, this is one of the most elegant Android phones out there, and let me start by giving you an overview of the ZL. Moving to the right side, we have the volume rocker, the elegant new power button, and also we have an IR blaster here by which you can use it like a remote, and we also have a dedicated camera shutter button. Moving towards the bottom, we have nothing but just two holes for the lanyard, and moving on this side, we have nothing but just the micro USB slot that will be used for charging and syncing the phone. Moving towards the back, we have this textured back panel, and we can open this flap, and this reveals the micro SIM card and the micro SD card slot. Moving ahead, we have the Xperia logo, and we also have the 13 megapixel rear facing camera, and we also have a loudspeaker and an LED flash, and we also have a secondary microphone. Moving towards the front, we have this nice elegant LED light which is a multicolored, a 2 megapixel front facing camera which is at the bottom, and we have that gorgeous 5-inch 1080p screen, and at the top we have the Sony logo and the earpiece. Now let's have a closer look at the phone, and it sports a gorgeous 1080p screen, and it's a 5-inch screen, so the PPI is also excellent. It's a 441 PPI, and that's why everything looks really crisp on the phone. Another good thing that I like about this Xperia ZL is that even though it's a 5-inch screen, it's one of the most compact ones in the market. For example, I have the Galaxy S3, and if you notice, if I keep it, still the Galaxy S3 is a bit taller compared to the ZL. So it's one of the most compact 5-inch phones out there in the market. And it comes out of the box with Android version 4.1, that's Jellybean, and also it packs some very impressive specs. In terms of the processor, it houses a S4 Pro quad core processor clocked at 1.5 GHz. The GPU is a Adreno 320, and that's a pretty powerful GPU. And the RAM provided on this is 2 gigs. Also, in terms of storage, the internal storage, it has a 16 GB, but you can also add a micro SD card to expand the storage as I've shown earlier. If you go to the settings, let's look at about the phone, and as you can see, the model number that I have specific here is the C6502, and the Android version is 4.1.2. Again, now as it's a 1080p screen, and if you're going to buy this phone, I would suggest that you go to the display options, and by default the font size will be at normal, and just see how bold the text becomes if you do that. And if you're going to purchase this phone, I would suggest that you go to the font size and make it small. Then only you'll appreciate the crispness of this 1080p display. We do have standard things like auto brightness, and we also have this mobile Bravia engine, and we can also adjust the white balance if you would like on this model. Coming to the battery is sealed, it's not user replaceable, and it's a 2370 milliampere battery. I've already made a video regarding the battery life on this phone, so you can check out this video for more info. Moving towards the display, again, the thing is that the display is really crisp and good if you look at directly, but the viewing angles are not the greatest, I would say. If you tilt the screen too much, the viewing angles tend to fade a little bit, and that's the biggest con I have with this phone. In terms of performance, the phone was very snappy to use. I'm connected to my Wi-Fi network, and again, Sony did modify the phone a little bit, but it looks very similar to the stock UI. It does not host the Timescape UI that you're used to with Sony phones, and we have these multiple home screens like we have in the standard Jellybean interface, and you can just do this and get to all the home screens, and you can add the home screens if you like. Again, I would say this interface is not fully optimized as of now, because I do see lag at times, a little bit of lag, and I don't blame the phone and the hardware for that, but the software optimization. Coming to the web browsing, it comes with the Chrome web browser. Let's just go to our website, that's tech2buzz.com. And also I like the keyboard very much, and you can customize the keyboard to your liking, and that's a good thing that Sony has done. And if you notice how quickly it loaded our site, and again, as expected, pinch to zoom gesture, etc. is really smooth on this phone. Let's just open up the Sony Xperia and Xperia ZL difference page, and we have a YouTube video. Let's change the orientation, and let's try to play back this one. tech2buzz.com, and in this video we're going to compare the two hottest Android phones by Sony, the Sony Xperia Z and the Z. So as you can see, that also works beautifully, and as I said, we don't have any physical buttons. The buttons are part of the display like in Nexus devices, so they changed orientation based on the way you hold the phone. So again, in terms of web browsing also, I had no issues with the phone. It was excellent. Some people have asked me about the call quality, and I have to say the call quality on this is very good. Sony has provided some extra options like clear face, and we also have the speakerphone enhancement. I would say that I had better experience by removing all these options, but again, it will depend upon your usage. But in terms of voice call quality, the experience was very nice and the voice calls were very clear. Also, the ringtone volumes are pretty loud, so you shouldn't have any problem with the phone. One thing that is a little bit annoying is that though the speaker is pretty loud, but when I was using it as hands-free, it was not that loud. So if you plan to use the phone a lot hands-free and you plan to use the speakerphone, then I would say it's nothing great. The volume could have been a bit louder. The Sony has restricted that. Coming to the memory, again, as I said, it has 2 gigs of memory, so we shouldn't have any problems with the same. And let me show you the same. Let me just invoke this advanced task killer and kill all the apps that are running. And now let's just invoke this Android system info. And as you can see, out of that 2 gigs, we have almost 1.2 gigs free. And due to this, the phone was really smooth to operate, and I could easily do multitasking also. As you can see, I have tons and tons of apps that are running on the phone, and then also the phone does not slow down or show any hesitations. Again, as I said, this is a 1080p screen, hence the text etc. is really crisp. Let me see if this camera can focus. It has problems, but again, it's very crisp. And another good thing is that the phone has mobile Bravia engine, so if you're watching any videos or pictures, it kicks in, and that makes the pictures and the videos very vibrant. Now coming to the benchmarks also, I ran this Dinamark benchmark, and as you can see, we got a very impressive score of 59.2 FPS, and it was an Adreno 320 GPU. Coming to quadrant, let me show you the same. Let's first look at the system info, and as you can see, it has a 4-core processor clocked at 1.5 GHz. Also, the GPU is an Adreno 320 GPU, and we have all the sensors. Sony did not skimp on the sensors provided on this phone. And let me just quickly now show you the quadrant benchmarks, and as you can see, we got a score of 7,748 on the quadrant benchmark. And let me give you a breakup. The total is 7748. The CPU got a score of 19,567. Memory is 9688. IO is 6988. 2D is 500 and 3D is 1996. So again, very impressive quadrant scores. And I also ran the AT&T benchmark, and as you can see, we got a very impressive score of 20,348. And let me show you the detailed scores. So these are the detailed score. You can just pause the screen to get an idea regarding the same. So again, very impressive benchmark scores. Also, in terms of media playback, I did not have any issues with the phone. I could easily play back 1080p content and even YouTube's videos at full HD. For example, let me show you the same. Let me just go to my own channel and let's just play back one of the videos. For example, the Xperia ZL camera review that I did. So as you can see, it's loading the videos in HD, and it has no problems regarding the same. And also, as I said, due to the Bravia engines, the videos and pictures look very vibrant on this phone. So if you're going to watch a lot of media on the phone, you'll be really happy with the same. Let me get out. Coming to the camera, the rear facing camera is a 13 megapixel, and I would say it does a great job. The only con is that it takes about 2 to 3 seconds for the camera to start. That's my only con. I have actually made a dedicated video regarding the camera performance of this phone, so you can check out that. But overall, I would say the camera is one of the best Android cameras that you can find. The front-facing camera is at the bottom, and I tried it with Skype video calls, and I was able to make Skype video calls without any issues. And again, it takes some time to get used to it, but after 2-3 days, I got used to this lower position of this camera. Coming to gaming also, I had very good experience with this Xperia ZL and I could play all the high-end games without any issues. I have already made a gaming review regarding this, so you can check out this. This phone also supports USB OTG and using that you can connect pen drives, and even I could connect a PS3 controller and play games. I'm going to make a separate video regarding the gaming performance using this PS3 controller, so stay tuned to my channel for that. Coming to the messaging app, we have the standard messaging app, and this is the keyboard, and as I said, the keyboard is pretty wide and it's easy to type. This is a test and it also works in this orientation. We also get the Google, voice recognition. Let's try that. This is a test for the voice dictation. And as you can see, that also works perfectly. One more thing that I wanted to show you is the level of customization provided for the keyboard, and I like that. You have to go in languages and input and click here and set the input method and hit this Xperia keyboard, and from here you can change the keyboard layout. For example, as you can see, you have multiple options, for example this and the standard one. So again, Sony does provide us the options to customize the keyboard. For example, if you want the full stop and the comma keys on your keyboard. So that was a really nice thing that the Sony provided options to customize the keyboard to your liking. Another good thing that I found on this phone is that the back, if you look, is not made up of glass like some of the other high-end phones. It's made up of textured plastic, and due to that, the phone did not heat that much when I was playing some high-end games. Yes, it did get a bit warm, but it was not very hot. For example, like the Xperia Z that I reviewed, or the Optimus G, which had a glass back. Before I conclude my review, let me also show you the Walkman app, and I have to say it's also very good, and the audio quality that you get is again very good. I have also made a dedicated video regarding this, so you can check out that for more info. And also I would say that the earphones that Sony has provided with this Xperia ZL are very good. These are in-ear headphones and they sound pretty good. Again, you can check out the video that I made regarding the same. So what do I feel about the Sony Xperia ZL? Again, it's a very good Android phone and it's a great phone. The styling is excellent. The only thing is that the viewing angles are not the greatest compared to some of the other phones in the market. But apart from that, I would say this phone is a very good Android phone and it excels. Again, I would like that Sony would have added more options in this, this quick toggle tray. We just have these 4 options and we don't have any option to customize the same. But again, as it's Android, we can always use third-party apps to do the same. Also, I feel that the UI is not that optimized and occasionally we do see some lags. I hope Sony will fix that with future software updates. I hope you found this video review helpful. If you found it helpful, I'll appreciate if you can click the like button given below. If you aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel, subscribe to the same. That's it for now. This is Ranjit from tech2buzz.com and I hope to see you in my next video.